Hi there, this is Emma. I am going to tell you today about how to ask for a pay rise. Now, as a long-time studio owner, I've owned many studios. This is a really tricky one because you can imagine that the studio owner has a lot of expenses to balance, so they've got to balance the rent, all the other expenses that come with owning a studio, repairs and maintenance, electricity, internet, equipment, everything. It is expensive to own and run a studio. And one of the biggest expenses, aside from rent, is teacher payments. So they are trying to juggle the money that's coming in versus the money that's going out. So it can be a really sensitive topic. So I would definitely say if you get the feeling that the studio is not doing too well, I definitely wouldn't be putting your hand up for a pay rise. Maybe it's time for you to look around and see if there's another studio that might suit you better. But if the studio is doing well and you know that you've been performing, so that you know that you are showing up, you are doing covers for other teachers, you are putting your hand up and saying, yes, I'll take those classes, or yes, I want more. You are providing the absolute best experience for your clients. You really care, you're really present, you're giving it everything that you've got. You're going the extra mile for the manager or the owner. So you'll empty the bins, you'll help out clients after class, doing all of those things. That's when it's appropriate to ask for a pay rise if you're an experienced teacher delivering exceptional classes and having great numbers in your class. If any of those things aren't happening, then it's probably not appropriate for you to ask for a pay rise until you're ticking all of those boxes. I'll try and remember what I said and I'll repeat it again. So you're going the extra mile in the studio, you're always on time, you're covering classes for other teachers, you have years of experience, you have really great class numbers, you're delivering an exceptional experience, and you're really contributing to the studio community and growth of the studio, and the studio is doing well itself, that's when it might be okay to ask for a pay rise. Now, some studios have pretty set rates for teachers, and so there might not actually be any wiggle room. And it's at our studio at Bend, we have pretty set rates for different levels of experience, but they're pretty set, and that just makes it much easier because my response is always, yes, you meet the criteria, or no, this is why. And it makes it easier because, like I said, as a studio owner, I have to balance all the expenses and all the classes to keep things, to make sure that the studio is profitable so that everybody keeps their jobs and keeps their classes. But for you, once all of those things are in place, how do you go about asking for a little pay rise? If you have been doing all of the things that I just ticked off, then it's more likely than not that you are a star performer, and so that your employer is going to be more open to that conversation. I would invite them for a coffee or write them an email and just start to talk about all those things that I've said. I teach really great classes, I put my heart and soul into it, I'm always on time, my clients love me, I've got really great class numbers, I always go the extra mile, I cover for extra teachers, I contribute to the community, the studio is doing really well. Do you think it's appropriate? I feel like with my level of experience and what I bring to the studio, I think that a pay rate of X might be appropriate. That is how I would approach it. And just being really open and being really, I think, respectful of the studio owner to make sure that they feel good about the conversation that you're having as well. What you shouldn't do is send an email or talk to the studio owner and just say, I've been teaching for this long, I deserve a pay rise. Because like I said, unless you're addressing all of those points, unless you're hitting the mark on all of those points, then maybe it's actually you that needs to go back and have a think about what can I do better, how can I do more so that I can make myself more valuable and thus worth that extra rate of pay. So I hope that this video has been helpful and given you some things to think about. Obviously, it's coming from my perspective as a studio owner, and so I'm thinking about it from my perspective, but also hopefully giving you the knowledge to know what, the person that you'll be asking, what's going on for them, what they'll be thinking about. So I hope that you are successful when you ask for your pay rise, and I'd love to know what you think. Pop a comment below or jump over to the community and tell me what you think, and we can have a bit of a conversation. I'd love to support you in a deeper way. So the commenting is a really great way to do that. I'll always get back to you, or if we're having a conversation in the community, I will absolutely, I'd love to help and support and mentor you more.